Is your firm currently tracking all the annual reviews that you have for your financial advisors? If not, today we're going to show you here how you can actually start categorizing your calendar events for your annual reviews, and then how do you run reports in your own Wealthbox CRM. Hi, my name is Matthew. I've worked with over 50 different advisory firms that utilize both Redtail and Wealthbox CRM, and I've helped them through these operational issues that you're going to see through this video today. So in today's video, I'm going to show you here what it looks like to actually categorize those annual reviews on your calendar. And then after that, we're going to go into how you can actually start reporting on that data. So we have our example here on our calendar. You see that we have a couple of different options on the right-hand side in your Wealthbox CRM. So in our case, we have our uncategorized events. We have our prospecting meetings. So in our case, we have an intro meeting, discovery meeting, and then we have a planned presentation. But what I'm really curious about is how do I actually start tracking these annual reviews for all the advisors at my firm? Well, I'm going to show you how you can start adding that as a custom event type in Wealthbox. So our first step here is going to be by clicking on the top right where you see the three dots, and then click on Settings. After we get to the settings area, we're going to go and customize these options. And then we are going to go on the right-hand side under Customize Data and click on Event Categories. Now, your firm may have already set up these event categories, but now may be a good time since you're clicking on this video to review all of the event categories you previously had set up. So in our case here, we again have our prospecting meetings, and then we have our servicing meetings, which again, I'm very curious about these annual reviews, but in our case, let's say that we're brand new or we're wanting to utilize our Wealthbox CRM a little bit better. So I'm going to show you, if you want to be able to add categories, we're going to go ahead on the top right and click on Create Category. You can choose a specific color for the types of events that you have. In my case, I'll go ahead and leave this as a blue color, and then I'll name this Annual Reviews. And then once you're ready, click on Save. Now, a little bit of a tip here. If you want to start categorizing the type of events that come up on your calendar in Wealthbox, we can simply do that by adding a little pre-name here. So in my case, I just want to identify all the client meetings that I'm going to be having. So I'll go ahead and add the client meetings : and then what type of meeting it is. This way I can quickly identify what type of client meeting I'm actually running and also group them together. So next we're going to go ahead and I've just renamed all of these meetings that we have, and again, any type of client meeting that we may have for the firm, I want to start tracking that to make sure that I am getting better data out of my CRM. So let's go ahead now and start showing you how you can report on those numbers. So in our first step, we'll go ahead and click on the left-hand side tab, Reports. After I click on Reports, I'm going to want to go ahead and create a new report. Now, our firm has already built out this report, but again, if you haven't built out any reports, we're going to want to go ahead and click on this Create New Report. But since we already have this built out, I'm going to show you what parameters to set up and how that actually looks on the reporting section in Wealthbox. And here is where we are actually going to be building the report. So when you click that green button, you'll be brought to this blank page. In the first step, you're going to want to click for Report Objects is Event. So we'll click on Event, give this a name. Again, you may want to categorize this so you can definitely identify these a little bit easier in the future. So in our case, we did use Client Meeting, and we are trying to report on the annual reviews for our firm. And let's say in our case, we want to see how many annual reviews we had for the past quarter. Now, this is where we're going to identify the time frame in which what type of report we're doing. So if you want to create a quarterly, a monthly, and maybe an annual report for all the annual reviews that you're having, that may be a good idea for your firm. So I'll go ahead, I'll click on the first field as the category. The operator is, and then the value is going to be that same value for the event category that we just customized and created in Wealthbox. So you may see a couple of different options here, but in our case, we'll go ahead and use the client meeting annual review as our value. The next two filterings that we're going to be using is to and functions. So the first one is going to be our status, and that is going to be completed because we want to make sure that these events have already been completed and passed. And then lastly, I want to show how many annual reviews we had for the past quarter. So in your case, maybe the past quarter, as you're watching this in the future, maybe January 1st all the way. So if we want to go ahead and report to future numbers, it'll be January 1st, and then we'll push the month out to 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we have the end of Q1 as March 31st. So we'll go ahead, click that. And then next, this is under the fields to display area, is what information are we actually trying to see on this report. So in our case, we're going to want to select the fields starts at, ends at, event type, related to, attendees, and finally location. Maybe you're trying to get some information on where are my annual reviews actually happening. So you may see some more trends. And then lastly, under fields to group by, we're going to want to group these by categories. So once this is all done and completed, we're going to go ahead and click on the green button down below, Save Template. Now let's go ahead and show you what this report actually looks like. All right, so now that we have our first report generated, and again, we're assuming that we're using these event categories, now we can see for the past quarter, we had 2 annual reviews, and we see that they're grouped together by the, again, event category. Now, again, you can choose to group these by, maybe you have a couple advisors in your firm and you want to be able to group how many different annual reviews they had. This would be a great option as well. So in our case, we have 2 annual reviews. So we have 1 and then 2. So one happened on December 4th, and then another one was on December 19th. And again, if you want to see the attendees, this is another place to view which advisor hosted which event. And then also in our last area here, we're going to see that who is it related to. Now in our case, again, it is related to the client. So if you want to run a check as well on which clients you actually met with in the past quarter, maybe in the past year, or maybe the past month, this would be a great report to run for your firm instead of skimming through notes and having to go through individual contacts to try to get this data. So just to recap, we just went ahead and showed you how to actually build out that custom event category in your CRM in Wealthbox. And then after that, we went ahead and actually built out the report and how you actually can customize and create new reports in your CRM for better tracking. We hope you found this video extremely valuable. If you wouldn't mind clicking the like button below and then also subscribing to our YouTube channel, we push out a lot of content just like this that is relevant to you and your financial advisory firm. If your firm is also experiencing these struggling challenges as you grow and you scale, please feel free to also schedule an intro call with us in the links down below in our description.